A firefight in that environment, freezing cold, crowded street, panicked civilians, would have been catastrophic for everyone. The tactical commander made the call: no lethal force. Instead, from the rear of the convoy, a DHS vehicle activated a long-range acoustic device, a focused sound beam that's physically painful to stand in front of. The front line of the crowd broke apart. A corridor opened. The convoy pushed through. Suspects and evidence were extracted without a single shot fired. What was in those pills? Back at Fort Snelling, forensic chemists started working through the seized narcotics. What they found made the whole operation even more disturbing. This wasn't street-grade product cut with whatever filler was available. This was pharmaceutical-grade pure fentanyl, pressed into pills that looked exactly like legitimate prescriptions. OxyContin, Xanax, Adderall. If you picked one up off the street and didn't know what you were looking at, you'd think it was exactly what it claimed to be. Among the seizures were thousands of brightly colored tablets, candy-colored, deliberately designed to appeal to younger users. Street value of the entire haul: $50 million. Enough to kill an enormous number of people, enough to devastate entire regions. And all of it was moving because 28 people with badges were making sure nobody could stop it. The professor talks during interrogation. The cartel's mastermind, a man referred to on the street as the Professor, a nickname that now feels a lot less ironic, started hinting at something bigger. He claimed the protection didn't stop at the precinct level. He said orders came from City Hall. Then the lights went out. A sudden, total blackout hit the federal facility. Emergency generators failed. Alarms started screaming from the server room. Magnetic locks disengaged. And then came the realization: someone had launched a cyber attack. A wiper virus was uploading to a remote server targeting everything: digitized ledger scans, encrypted communications, years of gathered evidence. The goal was to erase the professor along with everything that could implicate whoever he was about to name. For 6 minutes, it was a race between the upload and FBI cyber specialists who were physically cutting fiber lines to sever the building's internet connection. The upload stalled at 98%. When power came back on, the evidence was still there. And the professor understood something in that moment that changed everything. His people, whoever was above him in this chain, hadn't tried to break him out. They'd tried to erase him. He wasn't a protected asset. He was a liability being managed. He started talking for real. The trace from the attempted cyber attack led investigators not to a foreign server or some overseas cartel operation. It led to a municipal IP address, somewhere downtown, in city government. Drug profits laundered through halal restaurants, trucking companies, daycare centers, and nonprofits had been flowing into political campaign donations. Those campaigns had then lobbied for weaker policing policies and expanded sanctuary protections. The network wasn't just hiding behind sympathetic policy, it was actively funding the creation of that policy. It had essentially purchased a portion of the political environment it operated in. The aftermath. Once the professor started cooperating, Operation Metro expanded immediately. Federal marshals moved simultaneously on multiple precincts named in the Blue Ledger. Officers who showed up for regular roll call walked out in handcuffs. Within 48 hours, all 28 names in the notebook had been addressed. Stash houses across the city were raided. $12 million in cash, unwashed, stuffed into suburban homes, was seized. Final tallies: over 400 arrests, $50 million worth of fentanyl off the streets, a 60% drop in supply citywide within weeks, a law firm permanently closed, 28 officers stripped of their badges, a corruption scandal that reached into City Hall still being investigated. What this actually means. Okay, so I know that's a lot, but here's what I keep coming back to when I think about this story. The thing that's actually scary isn't the drugs, it's the architecture of the whole thing. Modern criminal organizations at this level don't really need to operate in the shadows anymore. They figured out something smarter. Buy legitimacy. Get a law degree on your team, or better yet, run an actual law firm. Set up nonprofits that do real community work alongside the illegal stuff. Donate to campaigns, show up at community events, get plaques on the wall, make any investigation look like an attack on vulnerable people. It's brilliant in the most disturbing way because it weaponizes the genuine compassion that communities and legal systems have tried to extend to marginalized groups. Every protection that was built to defend real people becomes a tool for the people exploiting them. The sanctuary policies were real and served real purposes, but they also created cover. The The legal privileges were legitimate and important, but they also shielded a production facility. The community trust was real and it was being used. The residents of Cedar Riverside who lined up to trust that law office, who called 911 and wondered why nobody came, who participated in protests that turned out to be coordinated rescue operations for cartel suspects, they were the real victims here twice over. First, because the drugs being manufactured in their neighborhood were devastating communities across the region. And second, because an organization was hiding behind their identity and their pain to protect itself. That's worth sitting with. Operation Metro cracked this particular network open. The question the investigation left behind, the one that's harder to answer, is how many other buildings in how many other cities have the same kind of modest, reassuring sign out front? How many other basements? How many other notebooks? The door got forced open, but there are a lot of other doors.